Look at what this security camera caught. Be very careful with this, just look at what happened to this woman. This video could save a life. Notice what happened in this house. It was just an ordinary day. The woman had just taken a shower, her husband appears and gives her a kiss, but pay attention to what's going to happen, it's shocking. They're having a normal day, probably getting ready for work. Write in the comments if you've seen this happen before, if you've been through this kind of thing. What would you do in this man's place? Share this video a lot so more people know about it and don't go through what this woman went through. This is very important, we need to stay alert. Here's a tip for everyone watching this video. Things like this happen all the time, so share this video so more people can see it. The woman just got out of the shower, her hair is wet, her body still practically wet, and without slippers. She's drying her hair, and this type of brush gets very close to the person's skin, it dries the hair while brushing, and that's the big problem. She starts drying her hair. She puts the dryer in the socket, as usual, but watch what's going to happen to her. Notice that at this moment, she's barefoot. She should be wearing something rubber on her feet, but she's without any kind of shoe. She continues drying her hair, it was probably very wet, and she focuses on that while talking to her husband. What's going to happen is terrible, and cases like this happen all the time, but few people come to the internet to warn about it. That's why it keeps happening to other people. Watch what's going to happen to the woman. She was drying her hair, and look what she's going to do. Look at the danger. She goes to touch the socket and suddenly gets shocked. The husband realizes something happened and rushes to check on his wife, but she's unconscious. She unplugged the dryer without wearing slippers. The husband grabs the phone and tries to call the emergency service. He's very nervous. During the call, he receives some instructions on what to do with her, and that's very important to help. It's important to know in case it happens to someone close. He is instructed to turn his wife over because in cases like this the person can't lie with their head up, but rather on their side, so as not to choke on their own vomit or something similar and suffocate. Notice what he does. Pay attention to this video because if someday you go through this, you need to know what to do to save the person. You never know what might happen. The woman remains unconscious and the husband continues doing what he can to help her. At this point, he's very nervous, but it's important to stay as calm as possible. In these cases, the first thing to do is to lay the person on their side and immediately call for help. Then, while waiting for help, try to see if the person is breathing, how their heart rate is. Pay attention to everything he does because in this case, the first thing to do is to turn the victim over and immediately call emergency services or take the person to the hospital. After the first aid, it's ideal to take the person to the hospital for further treatment. The woman starts to wake up after her husband does what he can to help, and the husband helps her to stand up. Thank God nothing happened to her, apparently it was just an accident, nothing serious happened. What can be noticed is that she had a very strong chest pain, and she was immediately taken to a hospital. What we all should know is that you should not mess with electricity without wearing sandals. So, here's the alert for this kind of situation. Share this video a lot because this kind of thing really happens, and this video can help many people. Often we share nonsense, but serious things like this we let slip by.